tell my brother I said hi. No!
Yeah.
Literally what I said. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Lessons, and we are back with another episode of Mobile Suit Gundam MS IGLOO Apocalypse 79. You know, even after all this time, I'm unsure if you're supposed to say the 00 part.
I mean, officially, it is a 0079 century. That's how you read the.
Do you?
Century.
No, because it's like, if you were like right when the calendar changed in real life, right? Is this year one? Or do we say this is quadruple 01, right? They're anticipating, because you're anticipating years at that point.
01, actually.
What's I'm saying? You're anticipating years, because right now, years have 4 numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Before, I assumed we're in the year 789, right?
Yeah.
So why would it be 0079? Are they also saying that when we get to year 9999, the calendar is fucked? Because
I have computers in 1970s and 1980s only had limited.
We're all aware of what Y2K is, and everybody's not that old yet.
Yeah, so
I'm talking about that's a programming issue. I'm talking from the conceit that we're all acknowledging from the fact that all the year numbers in the universal century only go 4 digits long.
Yeah. I mean, 9,000... 4 digits, yeah. 9,999 years is it's a long time in the future. So,
for humans, sure.
Yeah, well, the people counting history are humans usually.
Well, you don't know. You literally have no idea what will happen in literally 9,999 years. We can counter aliens. Literally, we could solve all diseases. We could kill ourselves off, in which case it doesn't matter how many digits the calendar has. Literally, 1 year war happened, could have killed all of us. Doesn't matter what those first 2 digits were. It seems.
But they didn't. So somebody kept the calendar. So my guess is that they'll jump to a new calendar along the way.
Legitimately, I think what I know from the calendar scale of how far the future goes in the century, it doesn't even reach that first number. Well, it goes like to 200s or something like that, and then we're off into Recongusta or Turn A, which we've already forgotten what the calendar is. So, literally built to be pointless.
It's just a sci-fi convention thing, I think.
Is it? That's what I'm talking about when we liken it to when we go to the regular, or whatever calendar we're using. I can't remember. I was like Gregorian in real life. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We didn't say, thinking that we're only going to get to the thousands. Okay, this is the year quadruple 01. No, that would be insanity. Also, it'd be a waste of mouth space, right?
I mean, the thing is, I don't think retroactively, because the way it works is that BC and CE, BC is counting down to CE. I don't think the people in that era we're 3 centuries away from some guy being born
retroactively,
in
what year was the Gregorian calendar implemented?
The Anno Domini? Well, the Gregorian calendar.
If it wasn't 4 digits long, then it nullifies your entire argument.
Okay, Gregorian calendar. Calendar. It went into effect in the year 1582. Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously I can't base my point on that then. But, I mean, I understand what you're saying about retroactive. But what I'm indicating here is that, so why don't we put a 0 in front of the 1? Who are you to say that there won't be 5-digit years?
And it was based on the Julian calendar, which was BC, or BCE, which is 46 BCE. So, which is weird, because they and the Julian calendar were not counting retroactively to the year 1 of the Anno Domini, because they were counting the years. but then it got converted somehow. So it's yeah. Calendars are weird.
No, it's the problem of you're actively going down a wiki rabbit hole when we're having a different debate.
I mean, it depends on whatever you want to name it. I mean, it's a conception of time. I guess they went with that because they made it a convention and everybody accepted it. If people had not accepted it, then it doesn't matter.
Well, it's also the fact that 0 indicates nothing. So why are we all agreeing to say nothing 79?
I mean, this case is a placeholder.
It's a placeholder that doesn't get replaced for 1,000 years. That's a long distance placeholder.
Yeah, well,
I think that the zeros in the Universal Century are like X's in anime names.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't say Hunter x Hunter. They say Hunter x Hunter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or Hunter by Hunter, I think some people have.
I've never heard that. I, in fact, think I heard that once, and it may have been you. So you, I think, are the only person saying Hunter by Hunter. I have no idea why.
Because I also heard it about what was the anime with the little girl that
Spy X Family?
Spy by Family, yeah.
Oh, yeah, see, now you're just saying Spy. You're just putting a by instead of X and everywhere now. Again, I've never heard anybody say Spy by Spy. Or Spy by Family.
Or Spy Family. Wait,
I've heard people say Spy Family because that's in the same nomenclature of not saying the X. But I have always said the X because it's in the name. It would be different if it was like only on the poster and it's supposed to be some sort of crossing motif in the art. But when people type it out, that makes it a part of the name. I say it because it's there.
Oh, according to the AI,
which is always right and has never gotten a thing wrong any time.
It says Spy Family is read as Spy's Cross Family, where the X is not pronounced but acts as a visual emphasis, essentially meaning Spy Family. I guess you're right.
No. There's another element of you're not listening, because I said that's the opposite of what I said.
What do you say?
I said that I would agree with that if it was like only artistically there, like if it was like on the poster and the X is some sort of cross motif, but the fact that you write it out when you type it implies that it's also still there. So the AI saying it's visual metaphor doesn't work if you type it.
Well, according to the Reddit, how's the title Spy X Family read or pronounced? It is read Spy Family, Spy Family, without the X. The author and editor have explained that the X is inspired by Hunter
X Hunter.
It's largely, and it's largely an aesthetic purposes. So I guess it doesn't get pronounced.
Well, this is also, it falls into, I feel like, is the GIF argument. In that the creator's intent no longer fucking matters.
Yeah, no.
Because it's GIF.
Yeah. I always said GIF. I never said GIF.
I mean, I ate the peanut butter GIF. They spell it with a J.
Yeah.
Anyway. Oh, I mean, well, I don't have any argument against that because I love peanut butter. So, most every day I start my day with a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
That's the worst combo. I look at it and go like, ew.
It's the worst combo. That is a schoolboy standard.
Yeah, not for me.
I mean, it's only better than, it's only second to, I should say, Fluffernutter.
I've heard about it. I don't know.
Well, Fluff is a brand, so it's essentially like a marshmallow paste.
Okay.
So peanut butter and marshmallow.
Yeah.
On a sandwich.
Peanut butter, chocolate on marshmallow. Yes.
Well, that's a dessert. Fluffernutter is a meal. It's as much meal as a sandwich is a meal.
Yeah, good enough. Ham and cheese for me anyway. So
Well,
yeah,
you wouldn't switch out a sandwich that has a meat and cheese or meat and dairy with a peanut butter and whatever sandwich. They're different kinds of sandwiches. I mean, that's the same.
Anyway.
That'd be like the same thing as if I said, peanut butter and jelly, and you're like, tomato soup, and I'm like, that's not in the same ballpark of meals.
I mean, one is a soup and the other one is a sandwich. But I did say that there were two types of sandwiches. So,
well, okay, that's like
speaking, yeah.
that's like making the British argument for like meat pies versus a more, I feel like, more American argument towards, dessert pies. You're like, oh, they're both pies. It's like, yeah, but they're completely different types of meals. You're like, I want a sandwich. Like different flavors, completely different tastes.
Anyway, the board is up.
Well, I mean, I haven't even introduced the board yet. We went off track somewhere right near the beginning. So,
yeah.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, let me bring the board up here on the window. Scroll down to it. Because, of course, we also have the board notes, which is, just very general, where I added the 4 characters from IGLOO Apocalypse 79 to the board. At least the 4 characters we have so far, because we're technically watching the 3rd episode today, which is a week separate from the first 2 episodes, in case anybody's wondering what we remember and what we don't remember. But there you have it. You have any comments about what's visually on the board right now?
I mean, we haven't changed anything from what last time, because the last changes of the first 2 episodes hasn't happened. So
literally said that I added characters. So the board literally is changed.
Where's
I do love that I have to repeat everything twice today.
Yeah, but you didn't add Cadillac's little brother.
Did I not? Tell me what do the colors of the lines represent?
Where is he though? I don't see him.
You can literally follow a line, Lessons. You know what the colors of the lines represent. And even if you didn't, I was
looking down here.
I literally have this handy. I have this handy thing that tells you what the colors of the lines represent. Well, it's like I'm panned out, like looking at this blue line going from him to her.
The thing is that his picture, you can't see his eyes. Everyone was like, who the hell is that guy?
Well, it's a shame that right beneath it, his name is present. Conversely, that thing we've talked about many times where you can just hit Control F, type Cadillac, and see 2 names pop up.
I don't remember shortcuts. That's why I never used them.
Maybe it's because I grew up in the DOS era. Where keyboard, yeah, well, that's what you did.
I just enter commands straight up.
I literally just Control A, Control V, Control X.
I would say deer or.
Actually, it'd be reverse. That would be Control A, Control X, Control V, because that's Control Select All. That's Select All, cut, and then paste.
With more of a looking down at menus and files on DOS. So that's what all the commands that I do.
Well, yeah, directory. Then you looked up and you type which C or what drive, whatever. Yeah, but I mean, still, it's all keyboard shortcuts from DOS era.
Yeah. Well,
either way, they're literally separated by like 2 characters. I don't know how you missed them. If not for the fact there's only 1 blue line on this entire board.
Because I was looking at the mask here, a green line. So I was like, oh, it's supposed to be around here somewhere. It's like, no, it's over here. He wasn't where I was looking at.
I mean, there's only 18 characters. You missed him for 18 characters. God, I can't wait to see what observations we get from today's episodes.
I mean, they're not necessarily board related.
No, but this is literally an unmoving picture that you don't have to keep track of with any sort of temporal consciousness, right? It's not moving, and things aren't disappearing and coming back, so...
I don't think it's going to be a problem.
Well, remember, this is all initiated by me asking you any comments about the board.
Well, the one comment that I was going to say last time and I didn't was how heart wrenching was Erwin's death was, right? And how seemingly utterly pointless, especially for the fact that happened at the very end of the war, right?
I mean, I could see the point of it. Narratively, not like if it was real. I don't see the point in it for reals, because what is the point, really? But narratively, it's for Monique. Sorry, keep forgetting her name. Yeah, she's my favorite fucking character in all of IGLOO. It's like, keep forgetting her name. I have notes and everything, but it's about her, because she goes from idealistic to having to realize what's going on. Like, she's idealistic right there until he's even there, but she makes a comment, which I've got a note about later, which indicates that she actually knows what's going on, and the idealism is a facade, and once he dies, the facade goes down. But to be fair, they're like a day from the war's end anyway, so she really kept it up really long.
I mean, I think the narrative reason is that this is a fatalistic situation, that having this entire fight in the other side of the moon with essentially other cadets, that even the fact that he managed to talk this guy down until he lost his own group and everyone else, and then both of them die, shows the utter futility of the whole thing, right?
Well, I mean, more so from the fact that the Earth Federation forces rounded the moon and came back, even though the Granada forces were supposed to be there as backup, and then they only show up after he's dead. Or the facet of, I don't know what the odds are of this, but they have to be so incredibly low that you are in line with 3 different objects in space at the same time at random.
I mean, I don't think it's completely random. I think they would, if you're setting a trajectory, you want to go back to the point that you're in. Yeah, both.
I'm talking about the ship. They're firing at the main ship, and then these two are coming back along to get back to the main ship. So their ship had to come around the moon at exactly the same angle that the ball and the brick are coming back to that ship at exactly the same angle and on the same plane of angle as well.
I mean, turrets can move, so I guess it can fly up and down.
You still have to be on the same angle. Well, okay, I understand what you're saying there. Still, it's a bunch of... They could have been in any other angle. The point that they circled the moon at just the right angle to be in line with that. There are so many different directions around the moon. I'm saying that they came around the moon that way. If they had come around the moon that way, then the ship would be here, and the brick and the ball would be coming down this way. They had to come around at just the right specific angle for that to work.
Yeah. Although, since the brick and the ball were going to intercept the ship...
No, that's what I'm already indicating. That they are coming from this direction, say, right? And the other ship's here. So, if they circle the moon on a horizontal path... The brick and the ball would be above that plane of firing, which has gone past, never hit. They had to come around specifically in the same direction that the brick and the ball were coming back towards the ship in, because otherwise that stray shot would not have gone in the same direction.
And hit them both.
It's incredibly unlikely that would have happened, unless done intentionally.
I mean, it was unintentionally to intercept the mothership. I don't know, to intercept them specifically.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. They would have done it intentionally, though. I don't know, because that's it's either intentional or like that 0.0001% chance, right? That you just happen to come in this way. It's the Kyle Hill argument of the vastness of space. That if you were in Star Wars and you would hit the hyperdrive, you could go on for eternity and not hit anything. Because space is just that empty. So the odds of you just coming into space and firing a shot and then randomly killing Erwin is so astronomically high. I mean, low. Sorry, astronomically low.
But as long as it's above 0, I guess it's still possible.
Sorry, so my brain went off back to the conversation we were having about the years.
Yeah.
79 above 0.
His preset is like what? Oh no.
Well, I mean, that's the only thing you got from the board.
Pretty much.
Not our Doctor Strangelove analog.
Not really. What's his name? Dominic Marquez? He's just a pilot.
What? Why is he your Doctor Strangelove analog? Doctor Strangelove,
no,
wears
Dr.
glasses.
Strange, no,
that's
you're
it.
confusing the general in Doctor Strangelove with Doctor Strangelove himself. I think he would be an analog to the Air Force general, the one that was afraid of.
Who are you talking about? I said the Doctor Strange.
Herbert von Cuspin.
He's not the general analog. He's the Strangelove analog because Doctor Strangelove has a problem with his Nazi salute hand going out of his will, and this guy has his gloved hand. He's constantly. That's why he is the Doctor Strangelove analog. I don't know why you thought the Navigator was the analog.
Because of the glasses that Dr. Strangelove wears.
Yeah, it's legitimately I don't even know why you think he was the general analog. I'm assuming you mean the general from the War Room and not the general who's talking about vodka and the fluids that the Russians are messing us with.
General.
No,
he ends up in the War Room.
No,
right? Making
No, you are misremembering. No, because the guy who's talking about Russian vodka and the fluids is the guy on the military base who's setting the nukes to go off. He never leaves that place. He kills himself in the bathroom. The War Room general is a different guy.
I'm talking about the general who is sending the bomber. The one about the fluids.
No, the fluids guy is the guy who was the British guy on the base. That's his whole thing about the Russians only drink vodka. They're doing stuff with their fluids. He shoots himself in the bathroom, and then the British guy tries to get on the phone to stop everyone. The guy back at the War Room, I think you're talking about the we can't let the Russian ambassador in here guy. Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah, it's a secret war room. We can't let everybody come in here because otherwise will be a secret.
Yeah. That's not the fluids guy. The fluids guy is the inspiring event of the entire movie. He's on a base. He never leaves. He kills himself there.
I gotta watch that movie again.
It's really good. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's stuck in my mind. But no. Again, it's the glove thing for me because it's Cadillac insults him for how hard he how he landed. He goes, I heard there was a crash earlier or something like that. And he goes, "Brah," with his glove at her. And he says, sometimes my flying techniques are too much for some people. And then the rest of the episode, he's just doing this with his hand. All you can hear is the crinkle of the glove constantly. So he kind of has this whole uncontrollable hand thing going on. And that's why I'm liking him to Dr. Strangelove. Because, by the end, he's like, yes, my daughter! And his hand constantly gripping it back and holding it to himself.
Yeah, somebody overheard that conversation about Hitler and was like, yes, that's what I want.
So I'm also always remembering a British panel show where they do, they joked about the news of the week, but they also had like stand-up routines in the middle between. And they were always like stand-up routines with a prompt. And there's one where the easiest way to ruin a dinner party. And the guy is like, oh, that was very nice. And I think now we should all raise a glass to the Führer! So it just sticks with me. It's like, it's such a good short joke.
I think I know what
Mock the Week.
Dana. Mock the Week. Yeah, I used to watch a lot of that. But
I think you're O'Brien. I can't remember his first name. Starts with a D.
Dana O'Brien.
Yeah.
Dana O'Brien.
Well, Daniel O'Brien is the guy who used to work for Cracked. He was on After Hours.
Dan O'Brien.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying Daniel O'Brien was the name coming to my head. It's so close. All right. Anything else about the board you want to bring up?
Nope.
All right. Well, I do have some notes. I know you're not writing any notes for this, so I gotta keep up that slack. Before the episode starts, we can see the ineptitude of Zeon Command when it comes to resource management at the end of the war. They are throwing transports into enemy territory to experimentally drop mobile suits with weapons platforms at Earth Federation ships launching from Jaburo. We've talked about different military doctrines in our time together reacting to stuff, and I have to think one of the most common lines between them all is sending your troops with sufficient supply to achieve their mission and having a clearly defined mission to carry out. This just doesn't feel like either. Our man is literally just trying to figure it out as he goes, and they are so undersupplied and understaffed that the last ship to try this got destroyed. We're using Zagax because we no longer anticipate underwater combat. I have to think Werner is equally rated as just useless enough to be used in this operation, but nowhere else.
Again, I think I commented when it came out that it was a sign of desperation, just coupling up whatever they could together to do something, right? To keep on the fight, right? We don't have a fleet because we put our fleet in the defensive posture, which means it's very difficult for them to intercept these ships as they're coming out. Oh, and by the way, we used up almost all our forces in the Americas thanks to, the Red Comet. So now we have to figure out a way to slow them down. And it's like, hey, somebody came up with, again, it's a whole vengeance weapon analog to the 19 in World War II, the Germans trying crazier weapon systems to see what would stick, right, as the war.
I can't remember the name of it. The extremely fast, tiny little plane that was in fact poisonous.
Yeah, Comet. The Comet was a rocket plane that was basically like a kite. And what made it very poisonous was that the materials that we use, the liquids, in order to make the rocket go, were not only extremely poisonous to to breathe or to have a contact with, but highly explosive.
I guess that's the analog of the I can't remember the name of it. It starts with a Z. That we have last episode? Last episode before the last two episodes that we recorded from the last series, the Hidden 1 Year War.
Mm-hmm.
Which was my argument back when we were watching the episode, was that they still have two of those on board, and those two ships would be much better to take out launching Jaburo ships than whatever the fuck it is we're doing here. Because that's the entire point, is that mobile suits are pretty damn good at taking out battleships. Especially ones that are just coming into the atmosphere and have literally no ability to do anything else. Alright, well, this is kind of a follow-up. There also has to be something said for the fact that since Zeon is even trying this, implies that they knew about the Jaburo launches ahead of time to even try and intercept them, giving me even more credence to my thought that evacuating Earth was a mistake. Knowing now that Zeon evacuated in November, and that the Earth Federation launched its remaining ships in December, implies that the lack of Zeon's presence freed up additional resources to the front. And, unlike the Zeon forces we saw in the last arc, Earth Federation is sending out forces capable of operating in space. It's a double whammy. I say, if they are willing to make desperation plays like this, then they should have just done their best to hold their territory on Earth. Hell, order all forces on the ground to North America, and over the next month launch a protracted campaign of harassment on Jaburo. Seems like they would be less likely to be able to launch their fleets if they thought they would be attacked every time the hangar opened up. If it worked, you would reduce the available forces present at Operation Star 1 by at least a third, which could have predicated a Zeon victory.
In the short term, at least, but...
a Zeon victory at Operation Star 1. I mean, not Zeon victory for the war.
Yeah. It depends. I mean, again, I said if the Federation does dedicate forces to contain Zeon, then harassment out of the containment zone will be pretty difficult because they will be shut down on the way to South America.
It's an equivalent amount of resources on both sides. Plus, this is the Zeon forces available and able to operate in a gravity well, which they're not able to do in space. So at best, it is still your forces working in their best environments.
And also you have to understand that Zeon forces were spread out all across the globe, so
they still had an operational ability to move resources across the globe because they still had, I keep on saying GOX. They still had GOX available for this mission, which wasn't going to be flying up to the spaceship. So clearly they had forces on the ground still somewhere. Again, they still have airlift capability. I'm just saying, I know you're not going to move everything to North America in a month, but apparently you moved everything off of the Earth in a month, or some sizable portion of it, which again, I still think was a high waste of resources, and who knows how much shit they lost trying to rescue people that could have just been trying to make it on Earth. I know you and me have different opposing opinions on this. I think I am in the right, and you think you're in the right. So that's just the point we have to stand on this. I think they could have won Operation Star One if they hadn't tried to evacuate Earth. Because we know like a third of their fleet at Operation Star One comes from the Jabro launch to go to Luna 2, then etc. from there. Was Werner actually a new type? He somehow knew he was getting shot at before the missile detection system ever went off.
We don't see the typical signs of a new type.
I got another note about that for a different character. But
yeah. So maybe he just expected it, expected that he will be under attack eventually. I mean,
but then dodged at literally the exact moment he needed to dodge. Before the missile detection system went off again.
Yeah.
And again, the missiles came from under the clouds. He couldn't have seen them coming, if not for also the fact that his cockpit is above the plane. So,
yeah.
Legitimately, he dodges the same way that Char dodges the whatever Xena warrior princess throws. I can't remember what that thing is called. Chakra?
Yeah, the chakra, yeah.
They nerfed the Zagok for that episode. We've seen the Zagok's biggest strength is how armored it is. It withstood greater assaults than Vulcans being fired at it in the OG show. Now they just strafed by them and tore off its arm and penetrated the cockpit. As much as I dislike the underwater mobile suits, this wasn't fair to the Zagok.
Yeah, I mean, it should have been strafing. Should have been rockets or missiles. Would have done a much better job of it, but not.
I'm pretty sure we've seen them take hits by the gun cannon.
Yeah. No, they took hits by Vulcans.
No, you remember in the OG show when it first comes on land, and they think that the gun cannon is the Gundam, and that's because the gun cannon shooting at them.
Yeah.
But here, it's just simple Vulcan cannons that rip its arm off and kill its pilot. It's contrary to what we know. I don't think we ever really talked about it, but Dozel died on Christmas.
Happy Christmas to the Federation, then.
You suck.
Christmas.
The best of us. Well, no, you don't get to salute.
I get to salute the Federation.
No. I mean, literally, because there's not the. So I know that saluting is the common moniker towards these sorts of things, but it turns out that in these episodes, Zeon is saluting people now. So.
Yeah.
Saluting the dead is what I do right now. You find your own thing when we get a Federation perspective. Sorry, we go to the Federation side and they're all fist pumping. It's like, no, that's usually our thing. We discussed the population of Zeon as being around 150 million before, based on numbers said in Origin. Then we had guessed the population of Bunzo was likely 20 million, based on the fact that the capital Banchai of Hate, Island Iffish, had a population of that size, and they are both a capital Banchai, Island Iffish and Munzo. By that estimate, we had guessed that Side 3 was comprised of only 7 to 8 Banchai. Well, last episode we got a graphic showing how many Banchai make up Side 3. 40 Banchai. By the way, it's either Banchai or Banshee, I'm not sure, I'm just saying Banchai. And this image is from December 24th or later, so if any have been lost due to fighting in the war, that's already been accounted for. This implies that the general population spread across Side 3 is about 3.75 million people per Banchai, give or take urban Banchai versus more rural Banchai and Banchai used for production alone. Funny enough, though, that is pretty close to your first guess about how many people would be in Munzo. You said like 1 to 2 million or something like that.
Yeah, because we don't see, even in the ones that have cities, we don't see necessarily high population density. We do see a lot of open ground, etc.
Well, we don't see the entire thing either. So
yeah. But we also see a lot of open ground and forest and lakes, which serve as water reserves, which is pretty useful. And also, it's a cooling, heat sink of the Banshee or Banshee. So yeah, I would guess that would be the population. I mean, it could grow larger eventually, but again, we're talking about how many? No more than a century worth of population growth as well.
Well, we're talking about spread. Is the thing, because we knew how many people Zeon had. We didn't know how many Banshai they had, so we were guessing a smaller amount of Banshai, which, to be fair, would make the it would make the use of them as weapons more impactful. Yeah. I mean, though, I guess it does make the utter destruction of entire sides more impactful. Like, we know how many sides are gone now.
Yeah.
And that means that Zeon has destroyed 40 of these per. Although I don't know, because we do know that, again, Hate had like 20 million people.
Yeah. It depends, I guess.
So that means that Zeon, I guess that could be representative of Zeon being underpopulated due to losses in the war. That maybe they are capable of holding 20 million per Banshee, but Zeon just doesn't have that population anymore. A real all quiet on the Western Front, if you will.
Yeah, and also it could be. It depends on how long it took. You could have changes over time. I mean, I think Side 3 by its name would be an older structure, and then perhaps the evolution of the Banshai into, we're building new ones. Okay, we can have more people in this particular Banshai, right?
Well, except in the represented here versus like Gundam Seed, where we've seen 3 different forms of space colonies, because Heliopolis looks different from the plants, looks different from that one colony we see at the end of the first season.
Yeah.
They all look the same here. So it seems like there's some sort of like regulation standard.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even if you have, even if the outer shell would be the same, you can still have improvements, right? Oh, hey, we thought, like in the first set of Banshais, like, we're going to be conservative and only have this amount of people, etc. Oh, we know we can put more people in here. Okay,
here's the other argument to I think what you're saying is that we also saw the inside of Island Iffish, and it was the same, wide open spaces and everything. So 20 million people there, though.
Yeah. Or remember that most of the, ironically, I mean, the whole space noise versus Earth noise situation that Garen keeps talking about, most of the sides were pro-Earth Federation, which could mean that people moved into those sides.
I don't think that's true. Hold on, I wrote something about this a long time ago. We look up the word neutral. Zeon ratifies its change into a principality, declares its independence from the Federation. Raya, Side 6, declares neutrality. Hate, Side 2, sides with the Federation. Yeah, that's all there is.
Yeah, so it could well be. Remember also that we saw in Origins people spreading themselves, like people who were pro Zeon were either getting kicked out or going back to Zeon, and people who were pro Federation.
My notes about the sides, I have my specific one where I have the X's and exclamation points and question marks. Side 1, after Side 1's destruction, it becomes the location of Solomon, HQ of the Space Attack Force. Solomon destroyed by Tiananmen Fleet. Side 2, Hate sided with the Federation at the start of the war. Side 3 is Munzo, I don't need to go into that. Side 4, Ruins, Siren, near Side 1, Solomon attack. Side 5, Loom, Texas colony, Texas itself remains, blah, 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 you already know that. Rhea, that's Side 6. Side 7, Noah, we already know about that. Side 7 doesn't pick a side. Loom picks a side. I don't have it noted here. We know Loom picks a side because that's where we see. It's the Battle of Loom. Obviously, they have Earth Federation backup, so that's why they decide to do that. So it's 2. We know 2 out of say 6. It's not going to count side 3. So side 3 is it with itself. That's 2 that sided with and 1 that went neutral. So now we don't really know the majority because the other ones that are destroyed, I guess we'll see in other stories.
Which also begs a question, I guess it does, but why were they destroyed if they hadn't picked a side? After all, why waste your resources and time?
Well, the one that went neutral didn't get destroyed. That's the one we saw on the show, side 6.
So they must have picked a side either way. Either they were they were side with Monso and they were attacked by the Federation and destroyed, or they side with
That is a logical way to see things. However, it's a fucking 1-year-long war. Who the hell knows? Manipulations. For all we know, the Earth Federation could have destroyed them. They could have sided with side 3.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Either they sided with Monso and Zeon, and they get attacked.
Oh, sorry, I was regarding your point from before that they most of them sided against Zeon, and I was saying we don't know. But yeah,
or the battles were so reckless and close enough to these stations that they suffered enough damage. Although we do know that Zeon deliberately attacked not only the island Ifish deliberately, they also attacked at least another. I think it was Loom, and they got destroyed.
It didn't get destroyed. They attacked its docking thing to make sure that that was just a distraction move. That was a distraction move to lure forces away from the main engagement that was going to be the Battle of Loom, so that they could then assault them with mobile suits.
Yeah.
Because if you remember, the one fleet, Zeon's entire fleet was like the size of one of the Earth Federation fleets. And then it was like 4 Earth Federation fleets that were coming. It's interesting that May doesn't mention Von Braun City. Obviously, OG Gundam doesn't mention it because it wasn't written yet. But I'd expect IGLOO to be late enough that its existence would be known. May talks about Granada just like OG Gundam did. We know Kycelia took over both lunar cities in the opening of the 1-year war. It's just interesting that none of the media we've watched so far has mentioned Von Braun yet. I anticipate that it must have been destroyed at some point, and thus the lack of consideration it gets. The alternative would be that it was recaptured by the Earth Federation, but I would think that if that had been the case, it would be mentioned more instead of not at all.
Or or a stand-up or something. I think. No, I'm not going to say it. I think it's a spoiler. Never mind.
Well, that's difficult to move past, but I'll try. I suppose it is of some interest to consider that Cuspin says that all the heroes burned at Solomon. Maybe it's my pedantic nature, but I kind of feel like he's tossing shade on the survivors of Solomon. Everyone Dozle commanded to get to safety.
I think it speaks to the hopelessness. Like all our remaining best pilots and crew and commanders in the form of Dozle died or were injured at Solomon. So what we have left is what we have left, basically.
Well, I mean, that's what I was speaking to when I said about the depopulation of Zeon. We're literally throwing the kids out. That's what the captain points out. You're going to fight your war with school children on a school trip? Or children on a school trip, sorry. Monique says, together as siblings, we'll become driftwood. About halfway into the last episode. So almost from the moment she saw her brother, she knew that they were going to die. And was now pointing out the fact that since they were on the same ship together, they would die together.
Again, I think once she said brothers, like, it's very fatalistic. The fact that it's a little brother, and they're all practically like 14, 15-year-olds, maybe 16-year-olds at most, right? Little kids.
Well, the first guy, he asked what his age was. He says 17.
17. And I said this also about another show. There is reminders of the world that could have been because she talks about him. It's like, oh, I wanted you to stay with mother, to take care of her. You're gonna be safe there. Like he represented for her peacetime, what was and could have been afterwards.
We had different readings. Because what I heard her say was, I wanted you to protect mother, implying that the war could get back home. We have nobody left out here. If this doesn't go right, I need you back home to protect mother. Also, their dad's still alive, so I don't know why counting on the 15-year-old kid, but
I mean, it's a way of pumping him up. Like, yeah, this is what I wanted for you. Like, yeah.
Well, we don't know how old their parents are either. It could be the fact that the dad might either be too old and infirm, or is in fact just young enough that we know that can't remember the exact wording he uses. He might be drafted, essentially.
Yeah. So it's a draft. He says that I got drafted.
Well, he didn't say drafted. He says something else. There's a national
conscription.
I don't know if he uses the word conscription either. He uses some very specific terminology, but either way, it's the same thing. We're saying the same thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there might be the element that, hey, you're 15, you might not have been, but the fact that you volunteered means that you're not going to be there.
Yeah.
Either way, my point is more so that she doesn't act like there's a threat of death through the entire episode until he's about to fucking die. But she literally says it the moment they encounter each other. We're both driftwood. All right.
It is what it is.
Here's my last note. Was Irwin a new type? He was literally sitting inside of a brick when he got a flash about the solar ray firing. At this point, there are far too many people that I feel like I could say were possibly new types. Future shows are really going to have to nail down a stronger definition for what they are.
Yeah, I think he might have been a new type.
Well, he literally gets the flash. Okay, well, I mean, I guess that's it.
I mean, I do remember that you said during an episode, please don't have her fall on her knees. And that's what happens with Dominique. She actually falls on her knee. Monique, not Dominique. I don't know what I call him. Dominique. That was pretty poignant, right?
Well, I was saying that because it's the tropey thing to do.
Yeah.
Have the formerly strong woman suddenly break down because something happens and then fall to her knees screaming or crying or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what she does. And then at the very end of the episode, she turns into Flay.
Does she turn into Flay?
She's a reddish hair color character, and then she's wandering the halls in what seems to be
a daze.
Yeah, in a daze with her hair just crazily going around her. And then we literally go into her face with the camera, which is a Flay thing to move, essentially right after dad dies.
And she had a ponytail, and she let go of the ponytail. She took out
Well, she had a clip thing going on actually, but the point is, that's what I'm saying. She goes Flay after her Flay's dad dies in Gundam Seed. So I don't know. I don't know what I expected. And obviously, the whole point was to show her disillusionment with what was happening with the war in her country. All right. I didn't write this down, but it occurred to me just before we started recording. There's gonna have to be something in this episode about her relationship to Giran, because Giran has to die this episode. I don't know if she finds out about it or not. Like, I don't know. I don't know what the 603 does at Operation Star One. Because you literally have to drop the whole, you're testing shit. Because literally this is the last stand. So
yeah,
I assume it's going to be more bricks, because that's all they're doing here. But he's already sent the report about the bricks.
Yeah. To no one who cares right now, because they're too busy fighting, or will be soon enough.
I don't know. I don't assume his boss is fighting.
Yeah, but his
boss is probably back in Munzo. Well, you say that. Literally, I don't know. Yeah, he might be now. He literally said, we'll send you all the support we can possibly give you. But with the indication that they're literally sending every prototype they have to the front. Anything that they have. I mean, to the point that they made bricks just to hold whatever weapons that they could possibly mount on them. It's the end of the war. I mean,
you or die.
Well, if they had been smarter about what they did on Earth, I think they could have won this. Sorry, no, I'm just thinking, Just thinking, if I had been in charge, what I could have done. Armchair
that's a lot
general.
of what ifs. Yeah, a lot of what ifs. There's a lot of channels about that.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoy fictional histories. What do you call them? I can't remember.
Alternate histories.
Yeah, what I used to. Well, have you ever heard? God, I can't remember the name of the book. All of a sudden, 1400. That's not right. It is it's a West Virginian town. Literally gets like boop, popped out of reality.
That's the first Turtle Dove series.
No, it's not Turtle Dove. This one deals with the 100 Years' War.
Yeah, I know. It's a West Virginia town that appears in the middle of the war.
They have their nuclear reactor, so like you got like rednecks and trucks going around.
Yeah,
but they dealing with like the politics of Europe at the time. It's not Turtle Dove.
No, I know the story. I want
to say it's like the word red in it somewhere or something like that. But
yeah,
I like shit like that. It's like, what if you took a bunch of rednecks and dropped them into the middle of, well, I guess a bunch of rednecks and a nuclear reactor. Or Ben Bova in the Orion series. I brought that up plenty of times.
Yeah,
but that sometimes veers into the sci-fi and fantasy realm, or like the idea that Orion has to go back in time and keep the Genghis Khan alive is the alternate history. Because if he's alive, Chinese bureaucracy spreads to the rest of the world, and apparently that causes humanity to stagnate. Versus Genghis Khan dying, and history going the way we go.
Jesus Christ.
Well, that's the trick. There's another guy, a Neanderthal, who's trying to screw up human history for humanity killing Neanderthals. And he is giving medicine to Genghis Khan. And Orion, who doesn't know what the plan is here, who's just like hanging out to try and figure out what the Neanderthals' plan is going to be. Aramana is his name. Has made friends with the Khan because they just like good buddies, I guess. And oh shit, I've got to kill my best friend. He's keeping the Khan alive, in fact. Damn it.
Yeah.
Good stories. Anyway, a lot of segues. Just bought one online the other day. Now, let's go ahead and get into it.
I was saying the super carrier again. Literally New Year's Day, I guess, the last day of the year.
Well, no, New Year's is the first day of the year.
New
Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve, yeah.
But imagine if it had only been a third of what was left. Well, no, I mean, sorry, a third of a half of what was left. If we had kept them trapped on Earth.
I think the ships would have flown anyway. It's one thing to have ground troops, but another thing is the ships that would have stopped the ships.
They would. You wouldn't want to launch them in the middle of a ground assault. They would be shot down.
But they already did a ground assault against Jaburo.
Yeah, not during the middle of a launch. Also, that was like months before the launch to space. I'm saying you could have harassed them into not being able to launch.
I see that as unlikely.
Well, again, you and me literally disagree on all elements of the Earth evacuation being a bad idea, so I don't really feel like it's a good argument to have anymore. I'm just saying, imagine that there was no heaven. That guy got shot.
Yeah.
But still, that would mean that they would only have 2/3 of their fleet there to then get killed by the solar ray, which means that half of 2/3 would have not been here.
The problem is we don't get actual numbers on either side. We get things like a third. It's like, what does that exactly mean?
Right, but we can compare percentages. Oh, that's right. Now I remember the next time on. They compared it to the big row. Oh, that's the other pilot. Sorry. I had him confused for the dumbass who keeps coming up every episode.
Yeah, pretty much.
Literally, if the camera would pan back over to IGLOO, Giran is telling them that right now.
No, he doesn't have...
He didn't have what?
No, the glove. Unless the glove is in the other hand.
It's only on one of his hands, yeah.
Yeah.
It's on his left hand, I think.
Yeah, he raised his left hand. No,
you're literally showing your right hand. You literally raised your right hand.
Well, this is my left hand, but yeah.
I don't know. When I turn this way, it's right.
Remember, we're mirrored to each other.
That's what I'm saying. If I turn around, the hand that I'm raising is the same hand you're raising in your camera. I can't turn all the way around to express that. Yeah. Okay, smartass here.
Right hand, left hand. I raised this one. This is my left hand.
Yes.
Right hand, left hand.
Oh, you're saying the camera is mirrored. I thought you were talking about mirrored just because we're facing the same direction.
Yeah.
Boy, people are going to love that commentary.
Oh, that was very dramatic.
I wonder if they're going to show the Gundam or Char's ship flying around. Oh, we heard all about this by Kycelia and Giran. Unfortunately, I cannot remember what field that Char and Amuro were fighting in. See,
oh, there it is.
Every time they say Ago, I keep thinking Ugo. They are fucking bricks. They are Ugos.
You're the captain. You should know.
Well, remember, the sister ship just got blown up in Earth orbit not too long ago. From less than this.
Yeah.
You're telling me you don't get Strangelove vibes from this guy?
A little bit.
I mean, look at him. He can even walk. Man, even our happy idiot looks afraid.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Oops. There goes May.
Maybe. I mean, there's a second season of this show. It could, I guess, follow different characters.
待て、キャデラック隊、待って。
Tell my brother I said hi. No.
Yeah.
Literally what I said.
Yeah, she's gone loopy. Basically, she's gone crazy.
Well, I was thinking about like a joke about like eating that dinner that he was talking about with his brother in hell or something like that. But I went with the neutral thing of tell my brother I said hello, and then she literally says that shit. Couldn't expect more from a commiserate captain.
Oh, so much for you.
We did a good job. I mean, if you're out here, you know you essentially have to fight to the end. There ain't no coming back alive. Plus, you just got that giant speech from Giran before you came out here.
Yeah.
Not for nothing, Giran's pretty good at giving speeches.
Yeah.
He's got two things going for him. Speech giving and that thing that Lincoln was good at.
Dying?
Catching bullets to the head.
Oh.
Say something about we salute. This isn't a you salute time. I'm pretty sure we're gonna lose this in the entire fucking ship. Gravity Front has to be about a different crew. Thank God we made the missiles to deflect shots, remember?
Yeah.
Proven never to be true. Yeah, I would say none of them have survived. This is the message you want to throw out there? I was about to say, just yesterday I rewatched Babylon 5 in the beginning, so I got to rehear the president's speech from that one. There's no way this guy was going to be able to compare in my head. Also, yeah, not for nothing, May. We've had 5 episodes of every test pilot dying, and now you're the test pilot. Also, why the hell is the Zeta still on board?
Oh, the Suda?
Yeah. He said, I'm not going to risk the Zeta pilots on this. Which implies they're still on board. You need to put every goddamn thing out there. That Musai looked like it had grass growing on top of it.
The hell was that? Oh. Him.
Who's him?
May.
I don't recognize the face of it. That's why I say, okay, we haven't done the pan back.
Yeah.
I legit thought that was the front of one of the Great Degman style ships.
腰痛ヘイム間に合いました僕は今戦うべき男としてここに来ました
I am a man!
このコックピットに座り本当に分かった気がします
That sounds like a death flag right there.
命を懸けた戦いを見守ること
Oh, he's gotta be talking to, you know, Cadillac.
その男たちが
Last episode we expressed that they might have had a thing going on.
Yeah.
You didn't note it, but I did put a purple line from her to him.
どのような兵器
Because she was writing home to Erwin about him.
記憶を後世まで残したいだから未来にそれがつながって
I don't know that Werner wanted to leave a mark on history.
男たちが信じたたった一つの道を
観測ポットすべて放ちました
How's that work?
Oh, there goes the carrier. You know what happened to
No,
her?
that's the Dolos. Yeah. No, I meant usually it's May who's watching the observation pods. So
But now it's Monique who's watching. Remember, she's in his station.
yeah, that's what I was talking about when I said most of the Zakus that we saw on Abaklo are just standing on the thing. I'll say it's now where we find out that Enfield was the only side that held during Abaquo. Maybe guard
protect
yourself.
him,
Yeah.
It stopped being, doesn't stop missiles and damn. Nice
Yeah.
throw.
I would say, relatively though, if you hadn't hit anything, that ball just would have been flying backwards and come back again. Remember, somewhere out there, Amuro and the Red Comet
ここから来てくれれば
Yeah.
are defeating each other.
なんだドラム缶の親玉か赤いモビルアーマ
Barrels.
ーこんな
They're bricks, not barrels.
部隊を再編する
Oh, they believe it's Char.
It's red.
The L red arm. Yeah.
クラン幕は極めて有効しかしジェネレーター出力配分にふらつき
I mean, to be fair, May right now is fighting better than Char has in a long time.
肥料不足に起因すると思われる
Yeah.
オッゴの損失数7
And you know all those lost ones are kids.
Yeah.
Sorry, were you falling out of your chair? What was happening there?
I don't know.
Imagine this going on while you're trying to dodge fire and everything.
しかし僕がこれまで見守ってきた戦い
If the other guys hadn't like backed off and retreated for a moment, I don't know how this could have happened.
Yeah.
一瞬の出来事な
I mean, I think that's the point. It's a heavily armored supply ship, basically.
夏の渦に包まれ燃え尽きる運命の魂であっても
I mean, at least they finally launched the Zetas.
信号弾を絶やすな。一機でも多くの友軍を回収する。これは後方より友軍の艦隊近づきます。何？
I see you. It seems like they're retreating.
No, she's coming from the moon, remember? Also, she can't retreat. We literally know she gets her head blown off by a
Yeah.
rocket, which also destroys her ship.
Yeah.
Also, I don't think she was in a Great Degwin class ship. Whatever they're called, I can't remember.
途絶している。まさかありえぬ。
I guess, though, it could be anybody.
Yeah, it could be.
Well, it couldn't be Gaicelia, because obviously they're saying 10 minutes ago
Yeah.
communications were lost, which means Gaicelia's on her retreat already. Girin's dead. We've never seen Dozel in one of those. Maybe Dozel had one, he just never used it, and it's being here.
我すでに指揮能力なし。作戦参加の全艦艇は速やかに戦闘を中止し、各個の判断にて行動せよ。これでは停戦命令で
Except for in your case, your best judgment is to keep fighting. Don't do that.
Yeah.
この戦いの終局を意味するというのか。決戦に敗れたという事実が理解できぬ。イーフィールドは未だ持ちこたえておる。
What's the point of holding the E field if what you're supposed to be protecting is surrendered?
我々船乗りはひとたび
I mean, though it does imply what I said before, this is the one
Yeah.
front that was able to hold on Abaco.
Yeah, because they didn't get a lot of forces attacked. It was a sideshow, basically.
I mean, it's one of the four sides of the front. You would attack all
Yeah, but you don't-
sides. If one side is incredibly weak because it's only being held by one thing, the front would move.
サイド3に向け友軍の艦隊は N フィールドより各個撤退を開始している模様だ。連邦軍の追撃も始まっているらしい。我々が食い止めた E フィールドの防壁。この抜け道も持ちこたえて
See? It's exactly what I just said. The front moves.
艦長、議論の時間はないようだ。私のゲルググの発進準備をしてもらおう。
Fair enough.
Then why?
あなただけ脱出ですか?
I don't think he's trying to escape. I think he's trying to keep fighting.
Yeah.
Also, she did her hair? Is that what she
Yeah.
was doing?
加減はもういい。
Yeah.
お見苦しいところを申し訳ありませんでした。鬼のかく乱とでも思っていただきましょう。しかし、義を解き藩を垂れるべき指揮官がお笑い草ですね。
それでよい。だが、まだほうけておるのか。
何?
Also, not for nothing, if you shoot and miss, you're gonna shoot the captain.
Yeah.
Who you're trying to protect with this whole thing anyway.
Why do they have the? I guess they know he's not the red comet.
What the fuck? I guess they want to keep the fighting going too. See, this is where your attitude gets us.
What do you mean, my attitude?
All the times you've said that you can't let people get away with what's happened, or your argument that after Operation British, no one would be willing to stop.
I mean, I think after Operation Bridge, people know we want to stop, but
That's literally what they just
I
said.
think, but in this case, if there's a ceasefire, I would
My
obey the
argument
ceasefire.
before the end of sorry, I'm only pausing till the show go on. My argument before the end of OG Gundam was that a ceasefire could happen or an armistice or something like that, and you were like, no, they would never let these people get away with that sort of shit. That they had to be made to pay for it. And that's what those people, I feel like, are meant to show us, the people that won't let it go. Literally, our Gundam Seed Zala faction people who don't actually exist, as it turns out.
I mean, if they surrender and they get attacked, that would be a war crime, and also violating a ceasefire is a war crime, and I'm not for it.
Well, there goes Mr. Happy-Go-Lucky.
I guess he didn't survive either, or her for that matter. But it does show very poor discipline on the side of the Earth Federation.
It's not a matter of
They
discipline.
would violate a ceasefire. Huh?
It's not a matter of discipline. No, it's not. Well,
Yes,
I think we should hold this part of the conversation for after the episode.
Yeah. I guess that's what they call it, apocalypse. In more ways than one.
Well, I figured it's more because it takes place at the very end of the war, where you couldn't see, like, worse shit happening.
Yeah.
脱出する最後の艦です。艦長、我々も続きませんと。彼らが命を懸けて守った脱出路です。そうか。みんな言ったか。続行する。進路サイド3へ。
They was there, you were just floating there, too.
Yeah. Not that unexpectedly.
Well, I mean, it is if you're on Zeon's side. You gotta have hope you could have won. Oh, so it wasn't him?
I guess May survived.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with this fake out.
Mm.
Well, for one thing, it was heavily nebulous about what was actually happening out there.
Yeah.
But we've had so many losses. I think it's good to at least get one win in. I mean, it's not even a win, technically. He just didn't die.
Yeah. Or her, for that matter. It looks like a miniature, right? It's like somebody took a miniature picture of a miniature, right? Of a model, Gunpla model.
私が見つめたさまざまな兵器には戦士たちの業が宿っていた。そして過ぎ去った多くの男たちの思いは私の人生の道しるべとなるだろう。彼らの物語をこれで終わらせはしない。たとえ ジオンの旗が永久に消え去ったとしても
I'm sure it won't. Sort of, MS IGLOO was the World War Z of mecha.
Yeah.
He went around interviewing people who,
Fought and
sort of not the
died.
World War Z, because, interviews people that survived. He interviews people who are about to die.
Yeah. That was it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, unless something immediately... Sorry, for those of you not in the know, our players are still going.
Yeah.
So kind of just assume something else is going to happen, but I guess this is just extra black time.
Mm-hmm.
What I was arguing about not being good discipline is the fact that it's not Here's the thing that's weird about MS IGLOO that I've noticed throughout a bunch of the episodes is that they give one voice to an entire ship. When the Earth Federation ships come by and they're attacking, you hear the radio of one voice. Those ships are crewed by a lot of people. The ship doesn't have just one voice. So when we see the balls and the general models fighting, you could say maybe that's bad discipline and not just the actions of an entire side disregarding the orders of its command. But when the ships start showing up and fighting, that's entire crews deciding to disobey the commands. That's not bad discipline anymore. That is the will of a people.
Okay, but here's the thing. It could be simply a matter of like these guys started fighting. Again, they broke with discipline. And then the ship captains go like, shit, our people are dying. Let's get them support, right? So it becomes like a snowball. One, you can't like, oh, they broke orders. Well, they're dying. No, they shouldn't have done that. Yeah, I'm not going to die anymore. The war's over. Sucks to be them, right? So, you can have a breakdown.
You
of discipline
say
that's small.
you can't do that. I don't know that you can't do that.
I mean, if they are people who feel that they're part of a side and going to support their side against the enemy, it's like, well, the fighting started up again. And so,
I mean, you're like, if I see 5 people start a mutiny, I can't not take part in the mutiny. It's like, if you see 5 people throwing their lives away because the war is over and they decide it shouldn't be, I guess those 5 people are dying because I'm not going to restart the war right here in all combat. And that's your call to make as a captain. It doesn't matter what the fucking rest of your crew decides, unless they then mutiny, because 5 other guys decide to be... that's what I'm saying. It's the element of the Earth Federation ships having one voice, even though we know there's a whole crew. Literally, whatever the Earth... I guess the comms guy represents the entire fucking ship in this.
Yeah.
I would have loved, just for comedic effect, I know it's not the scene for it, but... if just like one of the ships was like, no, don't do that, even though the ship is fighting too, because the comms guy is not on board with what the captain and the rest of the crew have decided.
Yeah. What the hell are you doing? It's a sea fire. Yeah. Also, there's the whole adage of kicking them when they're down, and I guess that's what they went for. And
I mean, even though they were already super down, they didn't fail. I mean, they won.
Yeah.
That's why I said,
I mean,
it's good to finally see a win, and I said it's not even a win because literally they lost the front too. So that's why it's an evacuation route, and why they said we have to get out of here for the front that they fought so hard to defend. And the last ship is coming through because apparently they're still pursuing. So it's a loss and a loss. All we didn't manage to lose was one commanding officer and a couple of Agos,
recruit,
and I guess one Zuda. Because I mean, the rest, it's like, well, that's a bunch of kids that died out there still, and the rest of the fronts.
No, but I think it failed on the Federation side because it's like, oh, hey, they're surrendered, they're not defending themselves, we can wipe them out. And they tried to do that, and they failed.
No, they didn't. Again, that's why May is coming back in a guy's hand. They did win. They won that front. They are currently, our main cast here is escaping. They won. Federation, I mean. On no account do you say that the Federation lost. Also, because we know what this battle is. The Federation won on all accounts, except for, I guess, they didn't eliminate the Xeon altogether. Because we still don't know what happens after this. all we've done so far is dipped our toe into year 0080.
Yeah. Literally the first day of 0080. New
Well,
Year's.
like the first hour, as far as I know. All we know is a ceasefire, or armistice, rather. Well, ceasefire, and then an armistice happens. And then after that, it's unknown, because we're going to keep dipping our toes. I don't know. I don't want this metaphor to continue. We're going to keep going backwards in time to the 1 year war, because there's so much more 1 year war to go. Because, you know, not for nothing, but also when we finally finish with all the 1 year war stuff, I'll finally be able to start reading all the manga that takes place during the 1 year war, because I don't want to read that and have it spoil something for me that I haven't seen, you know, animated yet.
Yeah.
So by the time we start like Zeta Gundam, I'll be able to start reading anything I want to read. Well, from the 1 year war.
So that was it. That was Apocalypse. We have 3 episodes to go to finish IGLOO.
Gravity Front. Yeah, technically this is all, even though it's the Hidden 1 Year War and Apocalypse 0079, this is all technically first season Mobile Suit IGLOO. And Gravity Front, even though it's only 3 episodes, it's technically Mobile Suit Gundam IGLOO. Sorry, Mobile Suit IGLOO 2. Although I guess there's some sort of some level of disappointment now, I'm going to feel. Because obviously, I feel like it can't be these characters again.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, because it'd be real difficult to pull it from their emotional, you know, their emotional end of everything. And just, let's go back again, see what they were doing before. So that would be hard, which means that we're done with these characters. Unless Cadillac shows up in, you know, Zeta or something.
Does Oliver and date Monique or not? We go back to their date.
Oh, sorry. You called him Oliver. I'm so used to calling him May for some reason.
May and Cadillac. Cadillac and May, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, though, is... Well, no, because they didn't date. I'm sorry. I just realized what you're talking about now. No, they didn't do that. Remember? He says, not tonight. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
And then literally the next day, her brother dies. So I doubt it happened that night. So...
Yeah.
It seems unlikely. I mean, until now, after the war.
Yeah,
but
Monique, I don't think Monique gonna try to pull a flay there.
Well, what I'm saying is, I don't think Monique is going to appear ever again, or Oliver, unless again in the manga. But I gotta wait to read that. In which case, anyway, I don't even know if I'll remember all of these characters by the time we get to the or get past the 1 year war. I'll, of course, have the board, and I've updated the board so far with the manga characters I have seen. So,
yeah,
I do know that some of the characters from the manga that I have read go on to other manga. So there's also the possibility that manga characters could interact with these characters I've seen before, and I'll cross-pattern them on the board at some point. That's all I have really look forward to when it comes to... I really like Cadillac's character. Like, I wish she had done more, but I guess pointing a gun at a commander is pretty cool. She did get to see the end of last, I don't know what to call it. There's 6 episodes, but they're separated into 3 arcs.
Yeah,
I guess
yeah,
arc.
When
I was gonna call it last
with, what's his name? Yeah, the when she was
Jean-Luc?
Both of them were in the test. No, yeah, when they're both on.
That's what I'm talking about. They're both in the Zudas. That's why she's piloting a Zuda here. No, I was going to say last, I guess last arc is what they're referred to as. I was going to say last season, but there's just 1 season. She was behind the general models, shooting at them as they fell back because they couldn't keep up. So she did get some action scenes. I don't know.
And survived here, so...
Also the element that probably doesn't, like... Not a lot of good is going to come of the end of the war for her.
No.
She's literally, like, I would use the word subservient, but that's not right. She's literally under the direct command of Giran, or was.
Giran's no more, so...
Well, Giran is also now guilty of killing the leader of the Principality of Zeon.
Yeah.
And God knows what else he was guilty of that we haven't seen on screen.
All the people who were in that command center, did any of them survive to... say to
Yes.
Who survived?
assumably the comms officer, who we literally just saw in this episode, communicate with the rest of command that they had no longer the ability to command. Because if you recall, literally, Caecilia shoots Giran. Caecilia tells her second in command, or the second in command of the base, because it's not her second in command, that she will bargain for him to get out of prison after. And then we know he dies because we see his dead body on the way, assumably killed by Char? I don't know. And then Caecilia dies, which means that all the rest of the people in the room are essentially just command and control people who don't have authority or, I guess, ability to command. Because, you know, at that point, it's who wants to take responsibility for the end of the war. Yeah, it literally is Hitler's bunker, if you think about it. Yeah. Hitler shoots himself in the head, and then the surrender order goes out.
Yeah, surrender, and but would they...
In this case, Giran didn't shoot himself in the head, but he still got shot in the head.
Yeah, but would they talk about what happened, at least to their captors? Well, yeah, we know who killed your general and our...
Well, they would. Leader. I don't think they would know about the Caecilia thing.
No, they would know about Giran thing.
No, when I say the Caecilia thing, I mean Char shooting Caecilia in the head with a rocket launcher. Because everybody present... I know, I'm just trying to cover who would know what where. Because that happened in a hangar bay, independent of everything else, and the only people that knew about that, we know, died on the way there. So, all those people in the command and control room would know is that Caecilia left, and assumedly would find out later that she died. They know that Giran was called a traitor by Caecilia and executed on the spot, but then told to continue doing their jobs. That guy who was in control of the room outside of Caecilia and Giran, again, died trying to make sure Caecilia got out. So all that's left is literally the people who didn't have voice lines.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose you can just say Giran was a Supreme Commander, and it was a Sion super weapon that killed the third of the fleet, including the...
he ordered it, and also the people that operated the command are still alive. So the people who did it know who their commanding leader, the person in charge was, and no doubt they're going to Nuremberg defense this shit, because that's what you always do. It's your first go-to, because it seems like the play that'll work the most often.
Until it doesn't, and you get hanged.
Well, you never know until you try, right?
Yeah.
I was just following orders. How would I know those orders are unethical? Literally. Also, you can always make the play, you did it to us first. You know?
Yeah, but... I mean...
You did it to us at Solomon. How is this unethical? You did it. To make this unethical, you have to agree that what you did was a war crime.
No, because what happened to Solomon was an attack on a military target. What Giran did was commit patricide and assassination of his own leadership.
Separate crimes, though. Technically, those people might only have known that they were firing on the incoming Earth Federation fleet, which is itself a military target.
Yeah, that would be valid.
That's what I'm saying. The information that Giran could have possibly withheld from those people is separate from the information that they would have.
But if they overheard Caecilia accusing him, because Caecilia listened, I was like, "Oh, where was the?"
Caecilia's making the accusation after the fact. But also, those are different people. Those are the people in charge of IGLOO. The people in charge of the operation of the solar ray are different people. Those are people out in the field. Those aren't the people on board the IGLOO.
But Giran ordered the firing of the weapon while he was in the command of IGLOO. He was there in that chair.
That doesn't make them culpable. If Giran commands somebody to shoot somebody, just because you're in the room when he gave the command, doesn't have you the ability to prevent the person who he's telling to fire the gun.
Yeah, I know, but going back to Monique, Cadillac, Giran is dead, so I guess she doesn't have a job anymore, I suppose, if the Zeon military gets disbanded. But I don't think she's at risk of anything else.
I would be unwilling to make guesses as to what happens to the Zeon military after at the start of the armistice. Because I mean, you could make so many guesses that I don't think anything I could say would be worthwhile at all. I would be more willing to see what happens at the start of Zeta, and then Like, after the first episode of Zeta, boom, out the gate, we're going to be making, like, commentary and guesses and whatnot. But the space is so open, so rife with possibility, that I wouldn't want to start my brain down a route that could only lead to disappointment. Because that's what happens most of the time, is I set myself up with wouldn't it be cool if they did this? And then they don't do it, and I'm disappointed, and it's not the writer's fault, it's not the show's fault, it's all expectations, and it's not something you want to do.
If I was writing this, I would have done this. You're not writing it. Damn it.
But we could. We just changed the names of everything, slightly change the artistic aspect of everything. We'll set it in
the multiversal century,
the galaxy decade, and
the galactic decade. Yeah,
we can get away with this, right? This is the difference between dun 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 dun, dun, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this was good. This was good. I really enjoyed the setup and the fact that we panned back to like all of the other sacrifices that we've made to people who just couldn't live in the world as it was anymore.
Yeah, and I like the fact that May ends with for him and for Zeon, this was always a war of independence, right? Right. I'm sure for their sports is the war of Zeon aggression, right? You're gonna put it that way.
Oh man, I hate that recontextualization. I mean, I liked it. I mentioned this before when they brought it up in the episode that they called it the War of Zeon Independence, because it makes sense, especially from people who have watched Origin first, and we know where all this comes from and how it gets manipulated into being this other thing. But I hate the way that you phrase that. It makes it sound like the Civil War, and now we're rooting for the come on, brain.
The South, yeah.
Well, I was going to try to call it. Sorry, all I can think of is the Union.
Federation.
The Confederates, the Confederates.
Yeah,
I live in the South. Yeah. That's how much I'm trying to avoid. Yeah, no, it's like, I don't want to side with the people who are literally pro-slavery, you know?
Yeah.
Because I know it's very easy to label Zeon as the bad guys, because I can't even think of metaphors anymore. Fish rots from the head, I think is what the phrase is.
Yeah, the fish rots from the head.
Because the leadership of Zeon is essentially just evil. It's like flat out evil. But the common Zeon man, the common Zeon soldier, isn't typically that. We see them here. They think they're fighting for their independence because that's what it started as.
Yeah.
They even got their perspective on Operation British. They were flatly against it, as we've seen many other Zeon people be against it. But it was the leadership that commanded it, and I guess all you got to do is... Oh shit, my brain's going to current politics. What other thoughts do you have?
Yeah. There's something I think that would wait into the future, not merely UC, but what happens later for me to comment on. But I'm seeing a pattern of, these people have good intentions, but it always goes to shit, right? Which I do have a problem with here, and also specifically in Destiny. I think I talk about Destiny. I'll talk more about there.
Well, it's good intentions twisted by people with a desire for power. It seems to be the case here. I'm not talking about Destiny, because you and me have disagreements about Destiny. So that'll be a conversation for tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right.
Now.
Yeah, if that is it. Okay, well, once again, I have been Theta. This has been Lessons. We've been Stone-Faced Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.